Have you ever noticed how, as we age, our notion of strength changes? When we are young, we believe that strength is resistance, dominance, and victory at any cost. But as time matures, we begin to understand something deeper. True strength lies not in those who impose themselves, but in those who remain serene even when the world is in turmoil. In Shaolin Buddhism, there is a practice called Luohanquan, the fist of the Arhat, or of the awakened being. To many, it seems like just a martial art, but in reality, it is a form of meditation in movement, a silent prayer performed with the entire body. Every gesture, every breath, every pause carries the same purpose: to unite the energy of the earth and the spirit, until body and mind become a single stream of consciousness. The masters said that Luohanquan is not about fighting against the other, but about reconciling what wars within us: fear and courage, doubt and faith, anger and forgiveness. Because before conquering the world, the true practitioner learns to conquer himself. Perhaps in your life, you too have faced battles that no one saw. Moments when you needed to be strong, when everything inside you wanted to give up. These moments are like the silent postures of Luohanquan. Firm, conscious, full of soul. They remind us that strength is not noise, it is presence. When the monk moves, he does not seek attack, he seeks balance. When you breathe in the face of difficulty and choose silence over anger, you too are practicing the art of Luohanquan, the art of quiet strength. And perhaps this is what the Buddha meant when he spoke of self-mastery. That inner peace is born not from escape, but from awareness. If this message touched you, like this video and subscribe to continue this journey. Here, each reflection is a step towards serenity and the awakening of true inner strength. Chapter 2. The Sacred Origins of Luohanquan. Long ago, in the silent mountains of China, Buddhist monks sought a way to unite body and spirit in perfect harmony. They lived in temples surrounded by forests and rivers, where the sound of the wind was their only song. There, Luohanquan, the fist of the enlightened one, was born. The name comes from the Luohan, also known as Arhats, disciples of the Buddha who had achieved the state of spiritual liberation. These beings represented the highest ideal of the practice: victory over suffering, not through force of arms but through the power of consciousness. Each movement of Luohanquan was created to reflect a virtue of these awakened beings. A firm blow represented determination, a gentle gesture expressed compassion, and the balance between the two symbolized the state of inner peace that transcends extremes. The monks realized that the human body is a mirror of the universe. When the mind is agitated, the body contracts. When the heart is at peace, movement flows naturally. Thus, Luohanquan became a form of meditation in movement, a silent prayer performed with every muscle, with every breath. But there was something deeper in this teaching. The masters said that the true enemy is not outside. It dwells within us. Impatience, pride, doubt, fear. Luohanquan was born as a compassionate response to this conflict, not to destroy the enemy, but to illuminate the shadow. Imagine the monk training under the soft light of dawn. His movements are slow but firm. He does not fight the wind. He moves with it. Each gesture is a silent conversation between body and spirit, a reminder that strength is not rigidity, but conscious fluidity. And so, over the centuries, Luohanquan became more than a technique. It became a spiritual path, a bridge between the physical and the invisible. Those who practice it do not seek power, but presence. They do not seek to defeat others, but to awaken what sleeps within them, because at the heart of Luohanquan lies the essence of Buddhism itself. Knowing oneself is the beginning of liberation. Mastering the body is only the reflection of one who has learned to master the mind And that is why, even today, centuries later, this teaching remains alive. Because it reminds us that wisdom does not age. It merely changes form, just as a river changes its course without ceasing to be the same river. Breathe, feel that somehow this lineage also lives within you. Every time you choose calm amidst chaos, you are unknowingly honoring the same path as the monks who initiated Luohanquan. Chapter 3. The Strength Born of Silence. There is a kind of strength that doesn't impose itself, doesn't raise its voice, and doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. It is the strength born of silence. In Shaolin temples, monks spent hours in stillness before beginning any movement. They knew that the body only moves with true precision when the mind is calm, the sound of the wind among the ear. Bamboo was their first teacher. It taught them that not everything needs noise to have power. In Luohanquan, every gesture comes from the center, from the point where body and spirit meet. There is no wasted energy. Every breath is deep. Every step is conscious. Strength comes not from tension, but from the harmony between firmness and softness, just like bamboo, strong enough to withstand the storm, yet flexible enough not to break. The monks called this Wu Wei, the principle of acting without force, of moving in tune with the natural flow of life. It's the opposite of haste, rigidity, and the anxiety of controlling everything. It's the state of someone who trusts, of someone who lets life breathe. How often, in our own lives, do we try to resolve things by force? We want the world to conform to our will. But Luohanquan teaches another form of power. The power to stop, to listen, to wait. When you remain silent in the face of anger, when you breathe before responding, when you decide to forgive instead of taking revenge, in that moment, you are practicing the Luohanquan of the soul. The fist is not raised to attack, but to protect the inner silence where wisdom resides. Silence is the teacher who speaks without words. It teaches that when we stop fighting the flow of life, life itself begins to gently guide us. Imagine a lake in complete calm. If you throw a stone, the water stirs. But when the surface becomes still again, everything is reflected clearly. This is how the practitioner's mind works. The quieter it is, the more clearly it sees the truth. Therefore, Luohanquan is not just a physical exercise. It is a prayer in motion. Each pause is as sacred as the next movement. Because it is in the space between one gesture and the next that the spirit finds God, or as the monks say, finds the emptiness that contains everything. The body acts, the soul observes, wisdom flourishes. And this is the strength the modern world needs most. The strength of those who know how to remain silent in the face of noise, of those who keep their hearts open even in times of uncertainty, of those who understand that silence is the temple where peace is born. Chapter 4. Virtue and Discipline. The Way of Luohan for Shaolin Monks. Strength without virtue is like a lamp without light. The body can be powerful, but without inner clarity, it becomes merely an empty instrument. Therefore, Luohanquan was not just a physical practice. It was a path of conduct, a way of living with awareness and nobility. The word Luohan comes from those who achieved awakening, but none of them got there simply by meditating in the mountains or training their bodies. They walked the path of virtue, and virtue is born from silent discipline, from the constant choice to act with kindness even when no one is looking. The monks cultivated 5 essential virtues, which can serve as a guide for any of us, at any age. Patience, because haste is the enemy of wisdom. Time is the invisible teacher that teaches us to blossom at the right moment. Just as bamboo does not grow overnight, inner peace takes time to mature. Respect, because every life, no matter how simple it may seem, reflects the same divine spark. Respect is recognizing the other as a mirror of oneself. When we treat someone with kindness, we are purifying our own mind, self-control, not as repression, but as conscious mastery of one's emotions. The practitioner learns that controlling the body is easy, but controlling the heart is the true art. Being strong means containing anger, remaining calm even when the world screams. Compassion, the highest strength of all. It transforms the energy of struggle into healing energy. The monk who trains his fist also trains his heart, because he understands that true victory is not hurting anyone, not even himself. Wisdom, the fruit born from the union of all virtues. It comes not from books or speeches, but from the silent observation of life. Wisdom is the serenity that arises when we stop reacting and begin to understand. These virtues were taught not only with words, but with actions. When the master swept the temple floor, he wasn't just dusting it, he was clearing his mind. When he bowed before another monk, it wasn't submission. It was humility before the whole. And this spiritual discipline doesn't fade over time. Even if we don't live in a monastery, our daily lives are our temple. Every challenge is an opportunity to practice patience. Every difficult person is a mirror for practicing compassion. Every silence is a fertile field where wisdom can germinate. Discipline, at its core, is not rigidity. It is tenderness with purpose. It is choosing the right path even when the easy way seems more tempting. It is waking up each day and saying, "Today, I will practice kindness." And when this discipline becomes natural, it transforms the practitioner into something more than a warrior. It transforms them into a living Luohan, someone whose presence inspires calm and confidence. The Luohan does not fight to win. He trains to understand. He lives to serve, and serves to liberate. Chapter 5. The Body as a Temple of the Spirit. At the heart of Shaolin teachings lies a simple yet profound truth. The body is the first temple of the spirit. The monks believed that before seeking the divine in the mountains, in statues, or in sutras, one must recognize the divine that lives within one's own body, because it is through it that we feel, breathe, move, and awaken. Without the body, the mind is a river without a bed. Without the mind, the body is an empty temple. Therefore, in Luohanquan, every movement is an offering. The practitioner moves not for vanity or display, but in reverence for the life that pulses in every cell. When he raises his arm, it is as if he were raising a prayer. When he breathes, it is as if he were chanting a silent mantra. The body is the altar where the soul learns to kneel before its own consciousness. As the years pass, it is natural for the body to change, for muscles to weaken, and for our pace to slow. But to the awakened eye, these transformations are not losses. They are lessons. Each mark of time is a writing of wisdom, a reminder that true youth lies in the mind that remains awake and compassionate. The monk said that the human body is like a sacred tree. The roots are the breath, the trunk is the supporting column, the branches are the arms that embrace the world, and the flowers are the pure thoughts that bloom when the mind is at peace. Caring for the body, therefore, was caring for the spirit, not out of vanity, but out of gratitude, eating mindfully, walking in silence, breathing consciously. All of this was part of the training. Because a disciplined body is the mirror of a serene mind, the mind gives form to energy, the body manifests it, and together, they reveal the spirit. For audiences who today carry the scars of experience, Luohanquan offers a profound message. It is not too late to strengthen the temple. Each conscious breath is an act of healing. Each small movement is a reminder that life still flows within you. Even if the body no longer has the agility of youth, it can still express the beauty of presence. And this beauty is the rarest of all, because it arises from the balance between acceptance and reverence. The body is fleeting, but the spirit that inhabits it is eternal. When we care for our bodies with respect, we are saying to the universe, I honor the gift of life, and the universe silently responds with balance, vitality, and peace. Chapter 6. The encounter of strength and compassion in one of the ancient Shaolin monasteries. It is said that a young monk asked his master, "How can I be strong like a warrior and, at the same time, compassionate like a sage?" The master smiled, took a glass of water and a stone. He placed the stone in the glass and said, "See, the water welcomes the stone without losing its nature. It is gentle, yet supportive. It is flexible, yet powerful. Such should be the heart of one who walks the path of Luohan." This is the essence of Luohanquan, the fusion of strength and compassion. In the Buddhist view, there is no contradiction between the two. One purifies the other. Strength without compassion becomes destructive. Compassion without strength becomes fragile. But when they come together, they form the perfect balance of the awakened being. True strength is to protect, not to dominate, and true compassion is to act, not just to feel. In Shaolin temples, monks trained their bodies not to injure, but to defend what is right and preserve what is sacred. Each blow was also a gesture of restraint, a reminder that the noblest victory is to avoid conflict, not to provoke it. This wisdom also applies to our daily lives. Being strong doesn't mean hardening. It means remaining calm when everything around us tries to destabilize us. It means having the courage to forgive and the compassion to understand that others are also struggling with their own shadows. Strength is holding back words when anger tries to escape. Compassion is speaking when another's silence calls for support. The warrior of the spirit doesn't build walls, he builds bridges. And this is a lesson that time gently teaches us. After so many battles and experiences, there comes a time when we understand that we don't need to prove anything. Serenity becomes our sword, and kindness our shield. The monk said that when the heart awakens, the fist opens. The gesture of attack becomes a gesture of welcome. And he who once fought against the world now learns to embrace life. Imagine, your every word can be a seed of peace, every look, a ray of compassion, and every action, a reflection of the silent strength that dwells within you. This is the true practice of Luohanquan. Not just moving the body, but moving the heart, training to be strong enough to protect and compassionate enough never to harm. Strength holds the world together. Compassion makes it flourish. Chapter 7. The Spiritual Path of Luohan. The inner journey. Every external practice is merely a reflection of an internal movement. Luohanquan, although it appears to be a sequence of gestures, is actually a mirror of the soul. Every movement reveals the state of the mind. When there is agitation, the body loses balance. When there is presence, everything flows in harmony. Shaolin masters have always taught that the true battlefield is not outside, but within ourselves. It is the place where we wage the quietest wars, between pride and humility, between fear and trust, between attachment and surrender. Luohan does not fight the world. It fights illusion, and this fight is sacred. Because each time we overcome a destructive emotion, each time we choose forgiveness over anger, each time we let pride dissolve into silence, we take a step closer to awakening. At the heart of this practice is the teaching that the human being is like a mirror covered in dust. The original radiance is already there, pure, serene, and luminous. But we must remove layer by layer of ignorance, fear, and desire. With each conscious gesture, we cleanse this surface a little more, until one day, we can see the face of wisdom itself reflected there. The body learns movement, but it is the soul that learns stillness. The Luohan journey is, therefore, a journey of self-knowledge. It seeks a teacher not outside, but within. Each breath becomes a teacher, each mistake a lesson, each silence a portal. And this wisdom doesn't belong only to ancient temples. It is accessible to all of us, even in simple everyday life. When you prepare a meal mindfully, when you listen to someone with an open heart, when you walk unhurriedly and feel the ground beneath your feet, you are practicing the Luohanquan of the soul. Awakening doesn't happen in the future. It happens the instant you are fully present. The monk said that when the disciple truly understands the path, physical training becomes unnecessary, because the spirit already moves in harmony with the universe. At that moment, the warrior disappears, and the enlightened being emerges, one who no longer struggles, but simply flows. The body is the form, the mind is the mirror, and the spirit is the void that observes in silence. The Luohan seeks neither glory nor recognition. His reward is his own awakening, and when he reaches this state, his presence becomes calm as a lake, his words gentle as the wind, and his gaze compassionate as that of one who has already understood human suffering. He discovers that true power is peace, and that the true destiny is the liberation of the self. Chapter 8. Final Reflection. Becoming a Luohan in Modern Life. We live in a world that moves too fast. The external voices are so many that sometimes we forget to listen to the most important one of all, the voice of our own heart. But Luohan, even amidst the noise, remains silent within. He learned to transform chaos into meditation, challenge into a path, suffering into wisdom, and it is possible to do the same, even without living in a temple, even without wearing an orange robe. Because the true temple is awakened consciousness, that inner space where fear ceases and peace begins to breathe. Being a Luohan in modern life is a state of presence. It is choosing serenity where everyone reacts in a rush. It is listening before responding. It is acting without hurting. It is understanding that each being, no matter how difficult it may seem, is fighting their own invisible battle. The Shaolin masters said that compassion is the art of seeing the other as oneself. And that is what transforms the world. Not speeches, but awakened presences. You don't need to lift a sword to change what's around you. Just change the energy with which you touch things, the words you choose, and the way you look at life. Every conscious gesture is a silent prayer. Every peaceful breath is an offering of peace to the universe. Time passes, the body changes, the world transforms, but the essence remains. Within each of us lives the same spirit that guided the monks in the mountains, the same spark of lucidity that the Buddha awakened under the fig tree. All we need to do is remember. Remember that strength lies not in resistance, but in understanding. Remember that peace is not sought outside, but cultivated within. Remember that love is the only energy that never ages. And perhaps, at this very moment, you are already walking the path of Luohan. When you embrace your pain with tenderness, when you choose calm over haste, when you offer forgiveness where there was once resentment. The awakened warrior is not the one who defeats everyone, but the one who has learned to walk in peace with what is. Being Luohan is carrying light even on cloudy days. It is smiling serenely in the face of impermanence. It is living each moment as if it were meditation itself. If these words touched your soul, like this video, and share it with anyone who needs a reminder of the strength that comes from silence. And if you want to continue this journey with us, watch the video that's appearing on the screen. We'll see you there. With serenity and an awakened heart, breathe deeply. Feel the gentle weight of the air entering and leaving your body. Realize that there is a living silence within you, and it is the same silence that inhabits the heart of the universe. That is where your temple, your refuge, your awakening resides.